Hi, Guy. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you doing?
I'm happy to see you on the FinTech Week. Of course, we are focusing on great, amazing Israeli companies here. We have companies from all over the world, but Israel's playing a big part on this summit. Before I dive into Rewire and all the amazing stuff that you're doing, I'd like to know a little bit about yourself even before. So give us a little bit of a background about who you are.
Sure. So first of all, happy to be here and thank you for inviting me. My name is Guy Kashtan. Most of my background is technological. So I started as a developer at a young age, initially as a hobby. Then I studied computer science, worked at Microsoft for several years, initially as a developer and then a product manager. And almost 6 years ago, we have founded Rewire. And today I am the co-founder and CEO of the company.
You founded it with two co-founders, right?
Yes.
Amazing. And how did you come up with the idea for the company?
So it started by seeing the big pain or challenge or need that migrant workers have with managing their finances. In the beginning, we thought it's all about money transfers or sending money back home to their families. But as we continued serving our customer base and growing our activities both in Europe and in Israel, we now better understand that it is about the entire financial management of our customers. And this is where we're also heading with our product to provide all of the financial services that migrants need, starting, of course, with money transfer, sending money back home to their families, but then broadly as well. When we looked at that about 6 years ago, we saw a large enough challenge for customers to send money back home, costs that were super high, cash-based economy on both sides of the corridor, both in the sending countries and in the receiving countries. And also the inherent virality in the service. So once you provide a good enough service to your customers, then they are likely to invite one another. That with also being a population we really wanted to help or support, altogether came into the size of this opportunity and why we started Rewire.
And let's focus on the individual challenge here. But what is the challenge for a customer like this to receive or send money back home?
So sending money back home is one of the challenges. Today, migrant workers have to rely on about 4 different financial institutions for their overall simple financial needs. They are usually underbanked in both countries, so they may have an account. It is probably limited. They may not have a card that we all take for granted. So receiving the salary is the initial challenge, whether it is in cash or to an account. Using that money, if you don't have an account, you may rely on cash deposit solutions or taking out cash from an ATM and then buying offline. Buying online becomes a problem when you don't have a card. When you need to send money back home, like most people would be sending money from their bank account, but migrants in most cases would take out cash and go and send money from a deposit point, which we, by the way, support as well through different partner networks. And then on the receiving side, again, in the home country, for example, the Philippines or Nigeria, you have the same problem. So the family members don't always have accounts. If they do, they may be limited. It is scattered across many islands in the case of the Philippines, for example. And lastly, they are not really using advanced financial services like savings solutions, long-term savings, insurances, loans, etc. And our goal is to provide, first of all, the basic solutions we provide today. In Europe, we already provide our customers with payment accounts, with IBANs, connected cards, and money transfer. But long-term, we also want to provide our customers with the products I mentioned, from savings to credit solutions.
So there's a bigger vision here. So not just the basic.
Much bigger. The way we see it, the future of migrant services in fintech, it's more around banking. So it's going to merge with banking, and our view is to provide banking for migrants long term, where we want to support all of their financial services. Money transfer is a critical aspect of that. It is the gateway, it's what attracts people to your product, but it's not what will make them stay long term. And we definitely have a bigger vision that includes including the migrants in the entire financial system, not that just the money transfer from one country to another.
And what markets are you active on?
So we started in Israel 6 years ago. A couple of years ago, we have launched in Europe, initially in Germany and Italy, and then expanded to all of the Euro countries and the UK. We are working on launching in additional countries. So just to make sure explain correctly, we are serving migrants that are living in Europe and in Israel. So
Yes.
our focus in terms of the migrant countries are East Asia, including India. So that includes India, Philippines, Thailand, China, Sri Lanka, Nepal, and more. And also Sub-Saharan Africa, including Nigeria, Ghana, Kenya, and soon launching Senegal, Uganda, and South Africa. In general, we focus on countries that receive more than $10 billion in remittances in money every year, while expanding also to the smaller ones in the upcoming months and years. And we are always expanding. We are now launching additional 3 markets. We are working on launching in a new exciting market I cannot yet share, but that would be publicly known in a couple of months from now.
And what is the, let's talk for a second about the benefit for the banks back home.
So this is a critical aspect of what we do. There's a gap in the market where banks back home highly appreciate their migrant workforce. So because migrants in general earn roughly more than 2 or 3 times than the average population, they are the decision makers for their family members. They finance them, they support them, and sometimes even others. And they are also using advanced financial services after a while in migration. So they open up savings account, they take mortgages, they want to get loans. So it's difficult to get that across seas, but eventually they do it. Sometimes, by the way, they even have to fly back home in order to open up a savings account. So banks view them as high-value customers, banks from their home country. And banks in their host countries like Germany and Israel don't really serve them. They are more interested in customers that may get loans here or investments, and those are not the migrant workforce in this case. And we see ourselves as bridging that gap. So we work with the financial institutions from our customers' home countries, and the goal here is to make their services accessible to our customers, which we already serve otherwise. Under that approach, by the way, 2 banks have invested in us. One of them is BNP Paribas, the 8th biggest bank in the world, that invested us a couple of times already, and also Standard Bank of South Africa, one of the biggest banks in Sub-Saharan Africa. With both of them, we are working on partnerships in order to serve customers coming from those same home countries.
I think that Viola, right, your investors are calling it fintegration or something like that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting that these banks have trust in you, and they join forces, and they are helping you reaching these markets and even grow, which is definitely a statement that they believe in your bigger vision here. By the way, I also heard from our partners from the summit, the NFIA, about the you're based also in Amsterdam, right? You have an office?
Yes, we have an office in Amsterdam. From Amsterdam, we manage all of our European activity. So we have an office there, a general manager, a team managing banking, compliance, and marketing locally. In general, our approach for expansion is having a local team in each market, managing the aspects that I mentioned now. So also in the upcoming markets that we will be launching in, we'll have similar structures of teams.
Yeah. And I also want to mention that I got many recommendations of talking with you. So I'm very happy to have you on the summit. I mean, we have Moneta, also Merav mentioned you, and of course Viola and the partners, and other fintechs that are in the space, and we both know them, other fintech players here in Israel. We're mentioning your company because of your unique value proposition, the unique approach that you are taking. And for me, this is amazing. We're talking about inclusion. We're talking about the unbanked, right? And thinking outside of the box. This is actually it, reaching to all these markets. So from what I'm hearing from you, there's a lot of more opportunities. And how do you grow these communities? How do you reach the unbanked and the people in need in all these countries?
So thank you very much, first of all. We are working with both the investors from Moneta and Viola FinTech for several years now, and they have been critical in our growth. So I'm very happy to hear that they also recommended us. In terms of reaching our customers, most of our customers are, at the end of the day, reaching us. So through word of mouth, friend referral, organically searching for Rewire specifically. So this is the majority of our growth. However, to get to that point, you first need to have a seed or a critical mass of customers within each market. What we usually do is we enter a new market, we hire people from the community. So actually many people working for us in the company are used to be migrants themselves or migrated to either Israel or Europe. So we start with our employees, we learn our customers, we provide them with services that are specifically for them. And then from that point, while bringing them a great service and focusing on putting the customers at the center, they start inviting one another.
So word of mouth is a
Word of
big.
mouth, yeah. So critical mass and then word of mouth. This is our main growth channels today.
Mhm. What are the challenges? I mean, we are a fintech week here, and we have many fintech players. We have banks, we have fintechs from all over the world, not just from Israel. What is your value proposition for them? Like what are your needs? Because we are all about connecting, and we want to help the fintechs, and you are already connected with so many.
So I'm more than happy to help. I consult from time to time to startups and founders at different stages. I, by the way, consult with others when we have different questions or challenges. So I'm more than happy to help. I think that you ask about challenges. I think regulation and expansion are part of the challenges that every fintech company has. It takes time to receive the licenses you need. It takes a while to learn to work with the regulators, which we have done over the last several years. So I would say that a lot of the expansion depends on how well you manage compliance, and anti-money laundering, anti-financing of terrorism. So this is an area where we put a lot of focus on, both with the regulators and internally in the company. And so that would be my answer.
Yes. And by the way, I'm still curious. Maybe on the next interview, you can share about more markets opening up, because I have some in my mind. Yeah, last summit we had a summit called FinTech Nations,
Yes.
and it was all about learning from the best practices, the best fintechs from all over the world. And we are a growing community, and we have banks, neobanks, challenger banks, fintechs, payment providers from all the countries. And we spoke to some people, for example, in Africa and other places, that only the KYC takes like 4 days. I'm not talking about, so I guess these are some of the challenges in these populations. And of course, everything you said about sending money back home. And I know this money serves a lot of families. In the end of the day, this money is meant for building a new home, right? This money
Yes.
is meant for big things.
Big things, but also for your next dinner in many cases. So I think it really depends on the range of migrants that we serve, but the money being sent back home or the money being earned or saving some of that money for a better future is critical for ensuring a better future for the migrants and their families. And at the end of the day, this is what we're doing the way we see it. So empowering the migrants to have a better future financially.
Yeah. Do you have a story to share with us of a specific customer, not mentioning names, but just so we understand the impact that that you helped a family like this or somebody?
I don't want to share something too personal, but I can tell you that in our system, we have different types of security flags to make sure that all of the customer activity is within legal boundaries. And one time there was a case when we saw a lot of transfers being sent to a specific beneficiary in the home country, which in many financial services would serve as an alert that something is going on. And at the end of the day, it was a community here sending money to help one of their friends who was undergoing a surgery. And this was critical for them to receive it immediately in order to help their community member. So in every transfer, there's a story behind every money transfer. And in most cases, this is about helping the family back home. So I can say that the entire company is resonated or is empathic to every money transfer and every customer, and we feel like we're making a change every transfer or every customer at a time.
Amazing. Well, Thank you very much. I'm super excited about your company. I would love to meet face to face and actually see you in the office also here and in Amsterdam. And I'm hearing so much good positive feedback about the company. So I had the goal to have you on the summit, and it was very important to me to show this kind of companies. And I can't wait to see what other markets, how does it grow, and serve more needs of people, as you said. And maybe we should, also follow up on the next summit with an interview to update on the company's, new adventures. So again, thank you very much. And I invite you to stay on the summit and basically enjoy, because a lot of people will probably want to reach you. How is the best place to reach to you, follow you, get updates about the company?
Yeah, I think LinkedIn to get to me specifically, I'm available there and can reply as well. The company has an active Facebook page as well, so that would be another source. So depending what you need, if I can say that we are always hiring and growing as well. Today we serve already more than 200,000 registered customers. So we are expanding all of our teams from product to marketing to development, business development. So if anyone sees relevant opportunities, also please feel free to reach out.
One last thing, it came out to my mind, like, how was the situation during COVID with your company?
It's a great question. So migrants' activities are usually cash-based. So worldwide, not specifically in Israel, when you look at Europe as well, roughly 80% of migrants' activity is done in cash, at least on one side of the corridors. And during multiple countries going through curfews, then those cash solutions were not available at the time. So you saw a huge spike in digital activity and movement from the traditional solutions to more digital solutions. And with that came a lot of growth to companies in our field, ourselves including. During the last 6 months of COVID-19, we hired roughly 35 employees in Israel. So we've grown significantly. We doubled our European activity within that same time period, and many other aspects of our company. So COVID-19 served and still serves as an acceleration of the digital transformation that migrants are undergoing. And we are part of that. Cash is a critical part of migrants' life. We don't expect that to change, but still this was the effect of COVID-19 in our activity.
Wow. Amazing. All right. So thank you for this interview, and we'll probably keep in touch, and I'm looking forward for the future of Rewire.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you for having me. Happy to be here, and have a good day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.